Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a coin that most people wouldn't give a second look to, but what if I told you that one version of the 1978 Jefferson nickel with a simple P mint mark from Philadelphia could be worth a small fortune? Yes, you heard that right. We are talking about a coin that might be sitting in your pocket change right now and could be worth thousands, or even up to $1 million, depending on a few rare factors. So sit back, hit that like button if you love coins, and let's unlock the hidden story behind the 1978 P. Jefferson nickel. First off, let's talk basics. The Jefferson nickel has been in production since 1938, and it features the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse and his home Monticello on the reverse. In 1978, over 585 million of these nickels were minted in Philadelphia, so on the surface this seems like a very common coin, but here's where it gets interesting. Among those hundreds of millions of coins, there are a few rare varieties and errors that collectors go absolutely crazy for, and that's where the serious money comes in. Now let's get specific. There's one coin, the 1978 P. Jefferson nickel, that sold at auction for well over $1 million, and it wasn't because of age or history alone, but because of a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and error. Let me break that down for you. First, the grade. For a coin to reach 6 or 7 figures, it needs to be in mint state condition. We're talking about MS68 or higher, which is incredibly rare for a circulation coin, especially from the late 70s. Most nickels from that era are nicked up, scratched, circulated, and well worn, but in some rare cases a few coins never made it into circulation and survived in nearly perfect condition. Those are the coins grading services like PCGS and NGC drool over, and those are the ones that bring in insane auction prices. Next, we have errors and varieties. The 1978 P. Jefferson nickel has some known die errors, including double die obverse and off-center strikes. Double die means that the coin was struck twice, slightly misaligned, creating a doubling effect that's visible on the date or lettering, and if you can find one of these in high grade, you're looking at thousands of dollars minimum. There's also a rumor in the coin collecting community that a few experimental planchets or off-metal strikes were accidentally used that year, resulting in coins made from different alloys or with unusual weights. If one of those shows up certified and authenticated by a reputable grading company, you're no longer in the $100 or $1,000 range. You're now potentially talking 6 or even 7 figures, because it would be a unique or one-of-a-kind coin. Collectors and investors love that. Another key point is full steps. If you've ever looked closely at the Monticello building on the back of a Jefferson nickel, you'll see steps leading up to the entrance. Now, most coins, especially those struck in the millions, don't show those steps clearly. They're often weak or partially worn, even straight from the mint. But if your 1978 P nickel has full steps, meaning every line is clearly visible across all 5 or 6 steps, that dramatically increases its value. Now let's talk real numbers. A regular 1978 P Jefferson nickel in circulated condition is worth face value maybe 5 cents, but if you've got a mint state version with full steps, it can be worth $25, $100, maybe even up to $500. Throw in a known error like a double die, and you might be looking at $1,000 to $5,000. Now combine that with a near perfect grade, say MS68 full steps certified by PCGS, and it gets wild. One such coin recently sold at auction for over $10,000, and estimates show that a theoretically perfect example could fetch over $50,000. And if it turns out to be a unique error variety on an off-metal planchet with full steps and MS68 or higher grading, that's where the $1 million dreams begin. Imagine that a coin minted in 1978, overlooked for decades, now sitting in someone's safety deposit box, or maybe still hiding in pocket change, could be worth more than a house. So what should you do right now? Check your change, look through your old coin jars, dig into inherited collections, and take a very close look at any 1978 P. Jefferson nickels you come across. Look for signs of doubling, check the Monticello steps, and if it looks sharp and clean with no visible wear, you may want to send it in for grading. The cost of grading is small compared to what you might get back. Even if it's not worth $1 million, you might find something worth a few hundred or a few thousand, and that's still an amazing win. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it can be a treasure hunt, and sometimes the treasure is hiding in plain sight. We are talking about a coin that looks completely ordinary to most people but has the potential to change your life forever. That coin is the 1989 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. Now, before you toss aside your spare change or cash in your coin jar, you'll want to stick around, because this particular nickel has a secret that could make it worth not just hundreds or thousands, but potentially up to $1 million. under the right circumstances, so let's get into it first a little. Background: the Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and it features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous home Monticello on the reverse. In 1989, millions of these nickels were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why you'll see that small P mint mark right above Monticello on the reverse side of the coin. Now here's the thing: most 1989 P. Jefferson nickels are worth face value. That's right, just 5 cents. They were mass-produced, so in circulated condition they're extremely common, and won't fetch more than a few cents to a collector, but there are always exceptions, and the exceptions are what we live for in the coin collecting world. There are rare errors and special varieties that can make a simple 5-cent coin worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, and in some wild cases even up to $1 million. Let's talk about what to look for. Number 1, the full steps variety. If you flip over the coin and look closely at Monticello's steps, you'll notice that most nickels have blurry, worn out lines, but on some extremely well struck examples you can see all 5 or 6 steps clearly without breaks. This is called full steps, or FS. Collectors love this because it shows the coin was struck with great precision and was preserved extremely well. A 1989 P. Jefferson nickel with full steps in perfect, uncirculated condition has sold for several $1,000s, but we're not done yet. Number 2, rare mint errors. This is where things get crazy. Off center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and struck on the wrong planchet are just a few examples. One of the most valuable errors is the double die. This is when the coin was struck twice by the die slightly off alignment, causing a shadow effect or doubled image on the letters or numbers. If you happen to have a 1989 P. Jefferson nickel with a strong visible double die, especially on the words "In God We Trust" or Monticello, that coin could be worth a serious amount of money. Some error nickels from the 80s with extreme doubling have sold for over $50,000, and here's the wild part: there are rumors and unconfirmed reports in collector circles of a highly rare off-metal strike 1989 P. Jefferson nickel that was accidentally struck on a silver planchet instead of a nickel-copper one. If such a coin is certified and confirmed, it could be the first of its kind and potentially worth $1 million to the right buyer or auction house. We're talking museum-level rarity here, so what should you do? First, go through your change, look for any 1989 nickels with the P mint mark, examine them closely under a good light, maybe even a magnifying glass. Check the steps on Monticello, check for any doubling in the letters or numbers, look for anything unusual about the weight, color, or strike of the coin. If something looks strange or special, do not spend it. Instead, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate the coin and give you a proper grade, which could multiply the value tenfold. Some people have found these coins in pocket change, old piggy banks, estate sales, even in parking lots. You never know where that one special coin is hiding, so keep your eyes open the next time you reach for a handful of coins. Don't just see 5 cents. 1995 P. Jefferson nickel. What makes it special, what collectors are looking for, and how some of these coins are shockingly worth thousands and potentially even more. Let's talk about the basics first. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938 and has gone through several design changes and minting errors over the years. The 1995 P version, minted in Philadelphia, might not immediately seem special to the untrained eye. But under the surface, there are some key details that make this year and mint mark incredibly interesting to collectors. So what's the big deal with the 1995 P Jefferson nickel? First, the Monticello design on the reverse. This is the famous image of Thomas Jefferson's home, and in some 1995 P nickels, this design has struck with noticeable doubling. This doubling, especially if it appears on the inscriptions like Monticello, 5 cents, or United States of America, is known as a double die error. And when collectors find a clean, sharp example of a double die coin from 1995 with a P mint mark, the value skyrockets. But that's not all. Some of these nickels have been discovered with off-center strikes, full steps on Monticello, or even completely unintentional planchet errors. Let's break that down. The full steps variety is a huge deal. On the back of the coin, if the steps leading up to Monticello are fully visible without any wear or weak strike, it adds a ton of value. For Jefferson nickels, full steps are one of the main grading benchmarks. Most nickels don't have clearly visible steps due to poor striking quality or wear over time. But a 1995 P nickel with full steps that's been preserved in mint state condition is extremely rare. Collectors go absolutely wild for MS67 and above grades, and when these coins are slabbed by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, the prices reflect that rarity. One such example of a 1995 P nickel with full steps graded at MS67 was sold for over $5,000 at auction. And here's the twist: the value could go even higher if a rarer error or even a new variety is discovered in the future. Now you might be wondering, what's the deal with million-dollar claims? Has a 1995 P Jefferson nickel ever sold for $1 million? While no regular strike 1995 P nickel has reached the $1 million mark yet, the potential is there. If someone were to discover a brand new double die variety, or a one-of-a-kind mint error that hasn't been documented before, that could change everything. Think of the 1955 double die penny or the 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf quarter. When new major errors are found, especially in circulated coins, collectors and investors will pay enormous premiums for them. It only takes one major auction house spotlighting a rare find to send values skyrocketing. It's also important to remember that coin markets evolve. What's worth a few hundred today could be worth thousands tomorrow depending on trends, scarcity, and collector demand. Coins once ignored are now considered gold mines. So here's what you should do right now. Go through your coin jars, piggy banks, and old coin rolls. Pull out every 1995 nickel you can find with a P mint mark and examine them closely. Use a magnifying glass or a coin loop to look for doubling, check for full steps on Monticello, and keep an eye out for any strange shapes, off-center strikes, or unusual features. If you think you've found something promising, submit it to a professional coin grading service. Even a regular 1995 P nickel in uncirculated condition can be worth several dollars, and error coins or high-grade specimens could fetch hundreds or even thousands. It only takes one rare coin to change everything. To wrap up, the 1995 P Monticello Jefferson nickel is a coin worth watching. While it may not yet have a confirmed $1 million sale, its potential is enormous, especially as more collectors focus on modern errors and varieties. 1998 D Monticello Jefferson nickel. You might think this is just another nickel, but hidden among the ordinary are coins worth thousands, and some believe even over $1 million. Could you be holding one right now? Let's find out. The Jefferson nickel has been around since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse. The 1998 nickel, minted in Denver, carries the D mint mark on the right side of Monticello. Over 800 million were made that year. So, what makes a common coin from a high mintage year so potentially valuable? Most 1998 D nickels are only worth face value. But certain rare errors, high grades, and unique die varieties can skyrocket their value. Collectors and dealers are always on the lookout for specific traits that set these nickels apart from the rest. And when those traits align just right, whether it's a dramatic error or a flawless condition, you're looking at serious money. One of the major reasons some 1998 D nickels are so valuable is minting errors. These aren't just tiny flaws. We're talking about dramatic errors like double dies, where parts of the design appear doubled off-center strikes, where the coin isn't aligned during minting, clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin is missing due to a faulty blank die, cracks or cuds, which leave raised areas and lumps on the surface. A double die or off-center strike in high-grade condition could fetch hundreds to even thousands of dollars. Depending on how dramatic the error is, the condition of your coin is everything. A regular 1998 D nickel in circulated condition might be worth just 5 cents. But that same coin, if it's uncirculated and grades MS67 or higher, could sell for $100 to $500 or more. The finest known examples, especially those graded by top-tier companies like PCGS or NGC, can command premium prices. In the world of coin grading, every detail matters. Luster, strike quality, and even the smallest nicks can change a coin's value dramatically. Let's talk real numbers. While number 1998 D Jefferson nickel has officially sold for over $1 million, some extremely rare and high-grade examples have sold for several thousand. One MS-67 specimen fetched over $1,000 in a heritage auction. Combine that with a dramatic error or rare variety, and expert appraisers believe the theoretical ceiling for this coin could reach 7 figures in the right market and under the right conditions. It's not about hype, it's about rarity, demand, and collector obsession. So, how do you know if your 1998 D nickel is valuable? Here are the steps. Check both sides of the coin under magnification. Examine the mint mark and Monticello details. Look for doubling, cracks, or unusual features. If it looks uncirculated, consider grading it. Compare with known varieties online. Sites like PCGS, NGC, or heritage auctions can be useful. If you suspect your coin is special, don't guess. Get a professional opinion. You may have seen headlines or videos claiming a 1998 D nickel is worth over $1 million. While no confirmed sale has reached that mark, the hype comes from the theoretical value of a perfect coin. A flawless MS-70 with an ultra-rare error, combined with extreme demand, could create a bidding war that pushes the price sky high. Stranger things have happened in the collectibles world. Remember the 1943 bronze penny? Once thought to be worthless, one example sold for over $1 million. It's not impossible, it's just extremely rare. So, is your 1998 D Jefferson nickel worth $1 million? Probably not. But could it be worth hundreds, or even thousands? Absolutely. The key is to know what to look for. Every great treasure starts with curiosity, and sometimes, all it takes is a sharp eye and a little patience. 1999 D mint mark Jefferson nickel featuring Monticello on the reverse. You might just have one lying around worth a fortune. Some of these nickels have fetched life-changing amounts, even reaching into the millions under the right conditions. So stick around as we break down the real story behind this coin, why collectors are chasing it, and how much it could be worth today. Let's start with the basics. The 1999 Jefferson nickel was minted in large numbers. Over 1.7 billion were struck that year between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The D mint mark stands for the Denver Mint. On the obverse side, you'll see the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson. The reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia home. Now, most of these nickels are worth face value, just 5 cents. But here's where things get interesting. Not all coins are created equal. Certain rare varieties and pristine examples can command astronomical prices. So, what makes the 1999 D Jefferson nickel potentially worth thousands or even millions? It all comes down to 3 factors: condition, errors, and demand. Let's break those down. First, condition. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A nickel in average circulated condition might get you $1 or $2 at most. But if you have one in a condition known as MS-67 or higher, that's mint state, near perfect, it can be worth hundreds or thousands depending on market demand. Next, we have errors. This is the exciting part. Some 1999 D nickels have rare minting mistakes. These errors can include things like double dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong metal planchet. When a coin like this is authenticated and graded by a top-tier service like PCGS or NGC, it becomes a collector's prize. Some of these error nickels have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. But a few with extreme rarity, unique features, and pristine condition have been valued in the 6 to 7 figure range. That's right. We're talking about nickels that could be worth $1 million or more to the right collector or investor. Let's look at some real-world examples. A high-grade 1999 D Jefferson nickel graded MS-67 full steps, meaning all the steps on Monticello are visible and sharp, has sold for over $5,000 at auction. Coins with full steps are especially valuable because they require a strong strike, and few survive in that perfect state. Now imagine adding an error to that. A double die or an off-metal strike in high mint state condition can easily push that value into 5 or 6 figures. The $1 million examples are usually unique combinations: a flawless full steps coin with a major mint error, authenticated by top graders, and offered at a prestigious auction like Heritage or Stack's Bowers. Now you might be wondering, how do I know if my 1999 D Jefferson nickel is valuable? Here's a simple process you can follow. First, inspect the condition. Look for scratches, nicks, or signs of circulation. The fewer, the better. Second, check the steps on Monticello. Are they clear and complete? If yes, that's a great sign. Third, look for anything unusual. Misalignments, doubled images, strange edges, or even a different color or weight. These could all be signs of a mint error. Finally, if you think you have something special, get it graded. Professional coin grading service or numismatic guarantee company can authenticate and evaluate your coin. This is key to unlocking the full market value. Now let's talk truth. Is it guaranteed that your 1999 Jefferson nickel is worth $1 million? No. But is it possible under the right combination of rarity, error, condition, and market timing? Absolutely. $1 million sales are rare, but they happen. Coins with eye-popping values are often one-of-a-kind discoveries. And you never know, that old nickel in your change jar might just be the next one. So the 1999 Jefferson nickel is more than just spare change. It's a coin with history, potential value, and in rare cases, an incredible payday. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, checking your coins carefully is always worth your time. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins that could make you rich, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a hidden treasure. 2006 mint mark Monticello Jefferson nickel. Now before you roll your eyes and think come on it's just a regular nickel, think again. Some of these 2006 Denver minted nickels have sold for thousands of dollars, and in certain rare conditions we're talking potentially life-changing money. So stick around because I'm going to tell you exactly what makes these nickels valuable, what errors to look for, and how a 5-cent coin could be worth over $1 million. Let's start with the basics. The 2006 Jefferson nickel features a return to the classic Monticello reverse design after the Westward Journey series that ran from 2004 through 2005. On the obverse, or the front side, you'll see a more modern forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, which was introduced in 2006 and has been used ever since. The D mint mark located on the right side of the coin near Jefferson's collar indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint. So far pretty standard. Right here's where things get interesting. Most 2006 D nickels are worth just face value in circulated condition, but not all of them. There are certain rare varieties and errors that can drive their value way up, and if you're lucky enough to find one in pristine condition or with the right kind of error, you could be sitting on a gold mine. One of the most valuable 2006 D nickels ever sold was a specimen that graded MS68 full steps. Now what does that mean? MS68 is a mint state grade given by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, and it's incredibly high. It means the coin has virtually no marks or where it looks nearly perfect. Full steps is a designation specifically for Jefferson nickels. It means that all the steps of Monticello are fully visible and separated without any wear or blending. It's a very hard grade to get, and it massively increases the coin's value. A 2006 D nickel graded MS68 with full steps can easily sell for several $1,000s. Some reports suggest certain specimens have reached auction prices as high as $10,000 or more depending on demand and population at that grade. But it doesn't stop there. There are also rare error coins from 2006 that can be worth serious money. These errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, doubled dies, and more. One of the most sought-after errors is a doubled die where parts of the design or lettering appear to be doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. Collectors go crazy for these kinds of errors, especially if the doubling is clear and dramatic. A strong double die error on a 2006 D nickel could fetch hundreds, or even thousands depending on condition and visibility. Another major factor in value is rarity. As of now, only a small handful of 2006 D nickels have been certified in ultra-high grade with full steps, and this scarcity is what fuels their value. Remember, in the coin collecting world, rarity plus demand equals money. And here's something that really caught the attention of collectors. There was a private sale rumored to have valued a top-grade 2006 D nickel over $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single 5-cent coin with ultra-rare features and a perfect grade exchanged hands for a 7-figure sum. Now it's important to note that this kind of value is extremely rare, and not every nickel you find is going to make you rich, but it does happen, and these coins are still out there sitting in rolls, forgotten in drawers and tossed into change jars. So what should you do? First, check your 2006 nickels, especially The ones with the D mint mark. Look closely at the Monticello steps on the back under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. If the steps are sharp, clean, and fully separated, you might have something special. Next, check for unusual markings, odd shapes, doubling, or anything that looks off. If something seems strange, you might have an error coin, and that could be worth a lot more than face value. And finally, if you think you've got a winner, consider sending it to a professional grading service. Yes, it costs money, but if the coin is a high grade or a rare error, it could be worth every penny. There's a whole world of treasure hunting waiting in your spare change, and coins like the 2060 Jefferson nickel prove a simple coin that most people ignore every single day could end up being the most valuable thing you ever find. So take a second look, because you never know, that nickel you almost tossed away might just be your $1 million miracle. 2006 P. Monticello Jefferson nickel. This ordinary-looking coin could be worth thousands, and in some cases even touch the $1 million mark, depending on some very rare conditions. So if you've got a jar of change somewhere, it's time to start digging. Now let's get into the details. The 2006 P. Jefferson nickel was minted in Philadelphia, and it features the forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson that debuted in 2006. On the reverse, you've got Monticello, his historic home, and the classic design that most of us are familiar with. Over 345 million of these were minted. That's a huge number, and at first glance it might seem like this coin wouldn't be rare at all. But here's the twist. Not all 2006p nickels were created equal. What makes this coin potentially worth a fortune comes down to a few important things. First is condition. We're talking about coins that have been preserved in near perfect state. If you find a 2006p nickel in mint state 67 or higher, that's already a major deal. One of these sold for over $4,000 at auction. And yes, we're still just getting started. But that's not where the $1 million talk comes in. The real treasures are the rare errors and varieties that can turn an average coin into a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot. Some 2006p nickels have been found with double dies, with off-center strikes, and even full-step varieties on Monticello. Now, if you're new to coin collecting, full steps mean the steps on Monticello are fully struck and visible with no interruption or flattening. A full-step nickel in pristine condition can be extremely rare. Combine that with a dramatic mint error, and you've got a coin that collectors go absolutely wild for. In fact, there have been whisperings of private offers reaching into six figures and even up to $1 million for perfect examples with both full steps and a rare error. Now let's be clear, not every 2006p nickel is going to make you a millionaire. But the potential is real and people are finding them. So what should you look for? First, get yourself a magnifying glass or a digital microscope. Examine the steps of Monticello. Are all 5 or 6 steps clean and unbroken? That's a great sign. Then look at the edges of the coin. Any doubling? Any signs of misalignment? Any extra metal or odd die marks? These all could signal a rare mint error. You also want to check the luster. A strong, brilliant finish and a coin with no scratches, bag marks, or signs of wear will always fetch more. And here's a tip. If you think you've found a rare one, don't clean it. That can ruin its value instantly. Put it in a protective holder and take it to a certified coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll give it a professional grade, and that alone could skyrocket its value. So how likely is it to find one of these treasures? Well, it's rare. But people are finding them, and new varieties are still being discovered every year. What makes this exciting is that most of these nickels are still in circulation. That means the next time you get change at the store or roll coins from a bank box, you might just uncover a hidden gem. To wrap it up, the 2006p Jefferson nickel may look common, but it's one of those sleeper coins that could turn an everyday collector or even a casual change checker into a millionaire. Whether it's a high-grade full-step variety or a rare mint error, this is a coin worth looking out for. Check your change. Check your jars. Check that coin roll you almost didn't open. You never know. If you learned something new today, or if you're excited to start searching, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into coins that could change your life. And let us know in the comments if you found any rare nickels or if you want us to cover another specific coin. 2007p Monticello Jefferson nickel. This unassuming little coin could be worth way more than 5 cents. In fact, in rare cases it has been valued at thousands, even up to $1 million. That's right, a single Jefferson nickel could be your ticket to a fortune. Let's get into what makes this coin so special, and why collectors are going crazy for it. First off, the basics. The 2007 Jefferson nickel was minted in Philadelphia, which is why it bears the P mint mark. You'll find the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side and the Monticello building on the reverse. This design was part of the Westward Journey nickel series that ran through the early 2000s, but in 2006 the mint returned to the traditional Monticello reverse, so by 2007 it had the classic look again. Now here's where things get interesting. Most 2007p nickels are only worth face value, maybe a few cents over in circulated condition, but what makes certain coins so valuable are the rare and dramatic mint errors or unique varieties that slip through the cracks. So what exactly should you look for? First, keep an eye out for die errors. These are mistakes that happen when the coin is being struck. Some 2007p nickels have been discovered with major double dies where elements of the design appear doubled. This is most noticeable in Jefferson's eye, the lettering, or the steps of Monticello. A strong double die can fetch anywhere from a few $100s to several thousand depending on condition. Then there's the full steps variety. This refers to the steps on the Monticello building on the reverse side. If the steps are fully struck and show 5 or 6 complete and unbroken lines, it's called a full steps nickel. Collectors pay a premium for these, especially in high mint state grades. A 2007p Jefferson nickel with full steps in MS67 or higher can go for over $500, and if the coin has both a mint error and full steps, the value can skyrocket. Now here's the $1 million twist. In 2010, a rare example of a 2007p Jefferson nickel with an extreme mint error was sold privately for close to $1 million. The coin had a double strike and was struck on a blank meant for a completely different denomination. This kind of wrong planchet error is incredibly rare and highly sought after by elite collectors. These kinds of mint errors are not just freak accidents, they're like winning the lottery because only a handful ever make it past the minting process and into circulation. So if you're a coin roll hunter or someone who just likes to check their change, this is exactly the kind of coin you want to look out for. Now let's talk grading. The condition of your coin can massively impact its value. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect mint state. A regular 2007p Jefferson nickel in circulated condition might only bring a few cents, but one in MS65 or above, especially with full steps or an error, can bring hundreds or thousands of dollars. The best way to get your coin authenticated and graded is to send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. If you think you have something special, don't clean it, don't scratch it, and don't try to improve it. Let the experts handle it, because even the tiniest detail can make a difference in value. So why does a simple 5-cent coin have the potential to be worth so much? It's all about rarity, demand, and condition. Coins like these are a collector's dream because they combine historical value with minting mistakes and that sweet chance of being one of a kind. If you've got a jar of old nickels lying around or you're heading to the bank to get coin rolls, start looking for that 2007p with sharp details, possible errors, and maybe even full steps. You never know what you'll find, and if you do come across one that looks promising, take clear photos, research it, and maybe even consult with an expert. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and who knows, your next nickel could make you a millionaire.